So here's the thing about healing. It's kind of messy and it's not a linear path, So there's a lot of like back and forth. It has made me realize a lot of things about my limiting belief, about the things that I thought were true about myself. It has helped me see a lot of patterns in my life. It has helped me be more authentic in a way and then have more confidence in myself. So it has helped me in a lot of way to heal, especially when we're talking about, like emotional abuse, because the gaslighting usually comes from that emotional abuse as well, that you're always put down. So it has given me back a lot of power, a lot of confidence. I would say I'm using that power, I'm using that confidence when I'm writing books, when I'm putting myself out there more and more and speaking up about it. So a lot of confidence in what I'm doing, a lot of confidence in my choices, and also, a lot of confidence that I can handle myself and what will happen into the near future, because I think a lot of our limiting belief, a lot of the things we're doing are sometimes fear-based. We're scared of this and this and this. Now I'm having more self-trust within myself because I can see what I've been through. I can see I've been able to handle it. I've been able to heal from it. So the word is actually less scary.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Truth That Heals podcast. I'm your host, Ryan Anthony Hernandez, and today we're going to be discussing a book written by Sandrine, our guest. So stay tuned, listen, and hopefully at the end of this episode, you'll be getting yourself a copy. So please welcome to the podcast our guest today, Sandrine. Sandrine,
Hi,
welcome to the
thank you for
podcast.
having
How
me.
you doing?
Thank you.
To get started, can you share with us where you're coming from?
Yeah, I'm actually from Quebec City, so I'm French Canadian. Here's to lovely French accent. So this is where I'm at right now. I've moved around a little bit in Canada, some of the more so like in Ontario and all, but right now I'm in Quebec City.
Okay, I thought you were from Toronto. But the funny thing is that I have my coffee here. I always like to get the day started with a cup of coffee before I do my podcasting or my reading. And the cool thing is that I was able to get this coffee mug over in Montreal when I was staying over there. So cheers
Well,
to
there you go.
Montreal. There we go.
Yeah, I can see the Tim Hortons sign.
Yeah, I got it when I was staying over in Montreal with some family over by Laval, I think. Is that
Yeah.
yeah. Um,
Did you enjoy it?
I enjoyed at that time when I was staying in Montreal. I actually needed a break because I just
Mhm.
came out of a abusive environment, and when I think peace, I think Canada and my family over there. But anyways, I'll stop talking about myself. I want to get into all about your book. To get started, can you share with us the title of your book and how you came up with the name for it?
Yeah, well, I can show you the book a little bit. So my book, Bowing to Predators, it's a memoir on abuse hidden in tradition. So it was written because it's a time of my life where I was doing a lot of karate, a lot of martial arts. So there's a lot of respect involved in that sport. And there's also a lot of bowing to show the people some sort of respect, some ranks. So bowing to predators. Predators, you can probably guess from the title. So it was abuse, it was physical, emotional abuse, it was a grooming situation. So unfortunately, an environment that was also helping people in power to groom young women and to have that respect, that authority that you don't question. And it's a memoir on abuse hidden in tradition because at a certain point, especially when you're young, you take into consideration that the environment you are in is safe or accepted. So some behavior that maybe would have been that you would have seen outside of a dojo, outside of like that context, you would obviously have been like, okay, this is abuse. But because it wasn't that context, because it was so accepted, because karate is already kind of a contact sport, you expect a little bit of contact. So it's hidden in tradition because there is a line that has been crossed. there's a line between a sport of contact and abuse. So that's what I've been trying to show in my book, to say, I understand this is a contact sport. There are things that are acceptable, things that are not. But because it's hidden in tradition, it's a place of respect. It's a place that people in power have to be respected. You have to listen to them. You have to be obedient. You have to, there's so many things that these people have to have as a form of like respect that you just follow and you just think it's normal. So it's like breaking all of these patterns now. So that's one of the big reasons why I've written this book. And it's also a book that has taken a long time to write, not so much in the sense of like when I sat down to actually write it, but in the sense that, a few years ago, we would have talked about all my experience and I would have told you, oh, that's normal. That's karate, because it was my experience, because I was in that environment. But then talking to other coaches in different sports, talking to other, like taekwondo, judo, like other people in different sport, or even like in karate, but like at the different dojo, then I could really see, oh, no, my experience it wasn't like the general experience that everyone had. It wasn't normal. It shouldn't have been accepted. So it took me a long time to get to the point to understand those behaviors just weren't acceptable, because for so long, it was just my norm. So I've written this book for prevention, first of all, I would say, because so many young women will get into probably similar situation and don't recognize it. Okay. For people that have been in similar situation to heal, and also for myself, and to kind of like give myself maybe the grace or the help I would have liked someone to give me back then. So that's a little bit about my book, I guess.
Okay, something you were mentioning just a moment ago was that the appearance of this being normal, but then you were
Mhm.
communicating with others and you're finding out this isn't normal. Uh,
Yeah.
you did your healing, or
Mhm.
you've taken the steps. You've been
Mhm.
proactive. Many people might find comfort in knowing that they've been able to overcome that trauma and move on with their life. However,
Yeah.
you've carried the torch and you've
Mhm.
written this book to, as you said, to be like educational for prevention. What what inspired you to not only heal, but to also write this book with the intentions of helping others?
Yeah, well, there's a quote I have heard that I really liked. I'm gonna try not to mess it up, but silence only protects the wrong people. And I think it has played a big part into my story, because there were so many people in that environment, so many people that could have acted, that could have done something, chose not to. So many people that have seen things. Maybe they weren't sure if it was okay or not, but no one necessarily acted. And I'm in a position that, I was young, didn't understand back then. Now I do. Now I understand the pattern. Now I can see it. And now it's kind of like my way to break silence. It's my way to say, okay, now I'm actually in a position that I can do something about it. So it's kind of like my way to do this, to help prevent if we can, to help heal if we can as well. Like throughout the book, I've written letters to my younger self, my 13-year-old self, 14-year-old self, 15-year-old self. So if someone reads those letters and then they can have them like for them, and that could help them heal, that's already going to be a big bonus. But I think at a certain point, once I realized that it wasn't normal, that it wasn't okay, writing this book kind of became my way to take my power back, in a way to kind of say like, well, this is my story, and to share it, because in the end, there should be no shame in me sharing my story. The shame should actually be on the abuser, on the people that did everything wrong. So to, by sharing this story is just my way to take back this power, and also to empower other people to tell their story as well. Because staying silent is not actually protecting us, it's protecting the wrong people.
And when you started speaking out or writing out, or what came first? Was
Mhm.
it speaking out or writing?
I would say writing, because I had just finished, let's say, like my second book and my first book, and I was like, I don't know if I'm ever going to write like a second book. And then I watched a Netflix documentary on like abuse with like children and all. And I just got so mad and I got so angry about, like episodes, past memories. And I was like, oh, wait, this is not normal. And then I started like writing down everything and then just going through all of it and realizing all of the pattern and all of the things. So writing came first, but when I really realized there was something there, something important, something I needed to heal from, something that could potentially help others as well, then I started sharing it at the same time. So, like I do have like this TikTok community that I have shared, a lot of my writing with, a lot of my journey with. So as soon as I knew I was going to do something with it, I already started sharing with people.
So my question for you is, when you started to find the strength to speak your truth and to share your story, did you ever receive maybe pushback or negative comments when you started to speak out?
Yeah, well, first of all, I have to say, like, I have only had support from like my community, from the people around me, my family. So this has been really helpful. I have to say, I did receive some comments, that they're from people that probably didn't have any wrong intention. I'm sure it came from a good place, but comments that kind of like shift the blame on me. So I'm writing this book and I'm explaining all of the pattern and I'm explaining everything. So a lot of people then ask me, okay, but why didn't you speak up? Why did you do these things? Like, why did you let it happen, or all of these things? And I have to understand that, at that time, at that age, I didn't understand all of it. That I probably should have been protected through that, but I wasn't. And then all of these patterns came, but then now as an adult, I can see the whole picture. I can see all of it, so I can explain it better. So there has been some comments that are more so like victim blaming, which I feel like a lot of people don't need, when you get into that kind of situation. I've had some, like people reaching out for like different reasons. So far, I didn't receive any big hateful comment, about it, which I think is beautiful in many ways. And I think because my book really speaks more to maybe people that have been hurt, people that are going through their own healing journey. I think those people have already had past trauma, past experiences, and can understand better where like someone is coming from. That I've been really fortunate to have really good support in that.
What are your thoughts on when a victim of abuse speaks out? And because recently here in the United States, there's a lot of this stuff happening. And it's like you said earlier, I mean, this isn't normal. It's not normal behavior, but
Yeah.
it happens. And a comment that I see almost 100% of the times is, why did the victim wait so long to speak out?
Mhm.
What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think there's many reasons for that. And I think, like in my case, like I told you, I didn't realize it before a couple of years ago. Things happened and then I just went on with my life. I disconnected. I just did the things that I needed to do. I just kept going. That's what I did. Never really asked myself a question about it. So I think at one point when you live through something really traumatic, your brain, your body has a way to protect you. Like we have those survival pattern, those like mechanism that your brain is using to kind of like cut yourself from it. So, you know, in my case, like I have a lot of blank in my memories from like my childhood or like from past events. So maybe there are things that maybe are blank, things that are confusing. So there's a lot of factor that can play a role into why people didn't speak up and why it took so long. I have to say, like, when I get asked, let's say, like, why I didn't say anything or why I didn't do anything, I always like to kind of shift it a little bit in the terms of like, but why do you think I did? You know? Because sometimes we just don't have a safe space, a safe environment to speak up. So even if you do speak up, sometimes nothing happens. So I think a lot of people that might have been in those situations just didn't have the support at the time, didn't have a safe environment where they could be like, okay, I think something happened. I'm not sure, but I need help. maybe they didn't have that support. So at one point, it's also a pattern that then people become more hyper independent and rely on themselves because, like when you've been disappointed, when you've had so many experiences that you've had to act on your own and deal with it on your own, you just keep doing that. And like for myself, I've always been pretty hyper independent that I was like, well, I'm just going to deal with this on my own and keep going. So it's unfortunate that all of these things happen. I think silence, makes it worse. I think victim blaming makes it worse because then there are so many people that do speak up. And then you see what happens to them afterwards. They're all like, there's so many haters, so many people that will attack them afterward that they're going to be called liar. They're going to be called so many names that you don't necessarily want to speak up. So a lot of people, I think, just take it upon themselves and just deal with it their own way.
Okay, well, thank you so much for sharing. I think that was a beautiful answer, and it really sheds a lot of light because I'm tired of seeing those comments, and it's
Yeah,
painful. But I think you answered it perfectly.
yeah.
Now going back to your book, was there a moment that you remember where you told yourself, Sandrine, I need to make a book. This is it. Was there a point where you experienced something like that?
There was. Um, I don't want to spoil anything for the book. That being said, I think the point that I was really like, okay, I'm gonna make a book about this was when I really started getting angry, not on my story, but because when I had all of those memories, when I wrote down all of these things, I also started thinking about other people that were in the same environment, other people that maybe other things happened to them. And at one point, like there was always in my mind for so many years, I gaslighted myself into saying like, oh, this, like this was probably my fault, or like, oh yeah, no, this was not abuse. I misinterpreted it and all. But then when you realize it has also happened to other people, when you realize you weren't alone in that environment, when you realize that it has also affected other people, then it's easier to not gaslight yourself into saying like, oh, okay, this is not important, because now it's easier to say, no, this is important. It hasn't just affected me. So throughout all my story, it's not just like me against like like all of these people. It's really an environment that was difficult and that was abusive to many people. So when I really realized I wasn't the only one concerned, like in that environment, into this story, I think I felt a bigger sense of purpose to actually sharing it. Because when we said like not everyone is going to be ready to tell their story, not everyone, is ready to do so. I felt ready. And I think it gave me, a sense of purpose to say like, I'm ready to share it and I can do it for other people that maybe just aren't ready to do so.
Hmm. Something you were talking about earlier just a moment ago is also, gaslighting oneself and
Yeah.
not seeing it for what it was. But then, of course,
Mhm.
you've done the work uh, before with that gaslighting, and you're allowing yourself to be silenced. But you've put in the healing, and you've opened that door to speaking your truth, to speaking your story. How has your life changed?
I would say, so here's the thing about healing. It's kind of messy and it's not a linear path, So there's a lot of like back and forth. It has made me realize a lot of things about my limiting belief, about the things that I thought were true about myself. It has helped me see a lot of patterns in my life. It has helped me be more authentic in a way and then have more confidence in myself. So it has helped me in a lot of way to heal, especially when we're talking about, like emotional abuse, because the gaslighting usually comes from that emotional abuse as well, that you're always put down. So it has given me back a lot of power, a lot of confidence. I would say I'm using that power, I'm using that confidence when I'm writing books, when I'm putting myself out there more and more and speaking up about it. So a lot of confidence in what I'm doing, a lot of confidence in my choices, and also, a lot of confidence that I can handle myself. and what will happen into the near future, because I think a lot of our limiting belief, a lot of the things we're doing are sometimes fear-based. We're scared of this and this and this. Now I'm having more self-trust within myself because I can see what I've been through. I can see I've been able to handle it. I've been able to heal from it. So the word is actually less scary, and I feel like I can handle much more. So whenever I'm taking a decision, I'm able to step outside my comfort zone more because I know I'm going to be able to handle it, whatever will happen, because we never know what will actually happen in life.
How would you describe yourself?
I like to be the fighter, to be honest. And then in a lot of situation in my life, I've always told myself in a fight or flight situation, I'm the fighter. And with everything that's been happening, and since it's like karate and the dojo, I've always kind of said that I'm the fighter in this situation. And I want to keep being the fighter. I want to be able to say, what scares me, it is scary, but I'm still going to be the fighter. I'm still going to choose to go over it. I'm still going to choose to confront it instead of fleeing from a situation. It hasn't always been easy to be the fighter, but I don't feel like a victim, not at all. I very much think that, by taking that power back, I have positioned myself into the fighter once more.
Something that I've noticed having you on the podcast. This is our second time, right?
Yes, it is.
Well, it's kind of like the third time. Well, I'll get into that.
Honestly.
Because, well, anyways, the crazy thing is that I've interviewed several people, probably over 200, and because not all the episodes are out yet. I mean, and
Yeah,
I have two
it's coming.
podcasts. They're coming. But never have I had it where, like, on our first time doing the podcast, the video was all messed up and
Mhm.
I was tripping out. I've never had this. And then today I couldn't get into the Zoom room. Something was happening there, and then during this actual recording, I had to stop it, and I made so like now the third interview is I had to split this episode, and well, anyways, even during this recording, it's as if some sort of force is trying to prevent Sandrine from getting her truth out there. But like you said, you're a fighter, and
Yeah, we're the
I
fighters.
admire that. I admire
We're
that.
gonna keep going.
You're gonna keep
Hopefully,
doing
we won't need a fourth take, but
it.
if we need it, we'll do it.
Well, I hope not, because it's going to kick my ass with the editing. But well, now my question for you is, you have your book, but were there any other voices out there, memoirs or documentaries that inspired you during your healing journey?
I think a lot of people inspired me in the sense that now that I've found, like that this community on TikTok, they're all like wonderful writers and authors, and everyone is putting themselves out there. And at first, when I stepped onto this community, like I was memoir author, in between like all the fantasy books and all. But then more and more, I found other people that are also writing memoirs, that are also telling their story. And I think it is beautiful. It is inspiring. And what's inspiring is also I get to know them on a personal level. So I get to not only know the book or read the book, but I get to know their story. I get to see them struggle once they're like writing it. I get to see the imposter syndrome kicks in. I get to see all of the doubts that like, should I do it? Should I not do it? Should I put my name on it? Should I put like a pen name on it? And I think this is the most beautiful part, of like, yes, once the book is out there, it's great, but seeing someone throughout the healing process, seeing the doubts, but still doing it scared, but doing it anyway, I think that's what's what's the most inspiring actually about this process. Like I have, like I for like self-help book or all, like I do love anything with like Brené Brown or like similar authors, but I think for memoirs, it's really the process is much more inspiring to me than the actual final result, because the final result could be, it could be very different from one person to the other. But the journey sometimes is very similar, like, the doubts and all, and just the courage. And choosing to keep going. I think that's what's the most inspiring to me.
What helps you keep going?
Uh, I have to say that I feel I'm always trying to improve myself, whatever that will look like. I think I have a need in me to just try to do better, whatever this will look like. And every time, so that might be also like one of the trauma responses that I had, from before, the need to do more, the need to improve and to just reach more. But I think now, as from like in my past, I always did that more in a physical way, pushing the physical limits and doing a lot of, like running and the triathlons and all of that. Now I'm doing it, but for my healing journey. But doing it with my healing journey feels so much different because as I'm doing this, I feel much more authentic to myself. I feel much more closer to me. We're always talking about self-love. I think knowing ourselves is the best way to get to actually loving yourself and to be able to care about us. So I think I just keep going because I'm curious to see what I will find about myself. I'm curious to see what I can do. I'm curious to see if I can help people. I'm genuinely, curious to see if I keep going, if I keep pushing, what I can actually accomplish for myself or other people, and if I can inspire some people as well to do the same.
Uh, Getting on to that curiosity that you have, uh,
Mhm.
how do you see yourself evolving? Now I'm curious, like how do you see yourself growing?
So I see myself growing in a way that I'm going to try to be, when I stepped at first, like for my first book onto TikTok, I like to tell the story of like, like I was recording a video and it would take me hours, to edit it. And then am I going to post it? Am I not going to post it? Nowadays, I actually film it. It can take me like a minute and then I can post it because it was kind of like my exercise with TikTok to be like, I'm going to be totally vulnerable. I'm going to be totally authentic. The people that will like it, good, are going to be there. People that don't, they're just going to go away. And it was my way to train myself to be more authentic, to be more vulnerable. So the way I'm seeing myself evolving is more, as much as I'm going to learn about myself, as much as I'm going to learn the patterns, what I need to do, I just want to keep pushing, but with everything that feels like this is totally me. So as of right now, I am very much enjoying writing. I'm sure I'm going to keep going with this. I'm probably going to be even more vulnerable, even more personal and emotional in my next book, which is, if you had known me 10 years ago, you would be like, Sandrine, this is really not you. I'm probably going to keep going with that. I like doing, like I'm doing conferences, I'm doing workshops as of right now. I like doing those. I like meeting people. I like knowing stories. And so I'm really going to focus more on, I think, community-based, thing, getting to know people, sharing people, because I think you only need one person to start sharing, one person to start, talking about their experience for other people to relate and to feel confident in sharing it themselves. Because often, like, there's going to be one person that's actually going to speak, but everyone else will kind of think the same way. They're just not saying it. So I like to be able to have people like relate and then feel seen and feel connected. So I'm just gonna keep being vulnerable and keep being authentic as much as I can.
Thank you so much, Sandrine, for sharing all about your journey and what you've been, how you've evolved and how you continue to grow. Now, going back to your book, can you remind us, because it's been a minute since we started, remind us
Yeah.
of the title, and for the listeners, I hope you remember.
Yeah. So it's Bowing to Predators. It's a memoir on abuse hidden in tradition.
Is it available only in English, or is it also available in French?
Only in English for now.
For now, so does that mean in the near future will we see French translations?
Eventually, yes. So enough people have asked me for the French version that I'm probably going to translate it. Yeah.
That'd be great. That would be awesome. And currently, where is it available?
Right now it's available on Amazon. It's also available on Ingram Spark. So libraries are going to be able to actually order it. So if they don't have it in your local bookstore, you can just ask them and they're going to be able to have it. And there's also two libraries in Quebec that have them, La Maison d'Aise and La Librairie Pantoute. So, but mainly Amazon and Ingram Store that you can get it from.
My next question for you is, can you grace me and the audience with a short reading from your book?
I can. It's going to be, and I'll have to find one. Trying to think if I think what I'm going to do, because that feels right, I'm actually going to read the end of it. Yeah, so all throughout the book, yeah, I'm going to spoil the whole book now. No, I'm not going to do that. So all throughout it, I wrote a letter to my 13-year-old self, my 14-year-old self, 15-year-old self, 16-year-old self to help me heal. All throughout the book, I didn't want it to feel, it is a book about abuse. I didn't want it to feel heavy. I didn't want it to feel harsh. And I wanted the reader to leave with something. So at the end of the book, I also wrote another letter to the reader. So this is what I'm going to read. To the person you were, the one who needed healing, from the woman who is proud of who you have become. Hey friend, it's me again. I couldn't let you go like this. I don't know everything about your story. If you would like to share it with me, I'd be happy to listen. But I feel like I know enough about you and about the kind of person that you are. It might surprise you. How could I? I don't need to know everything about you to see the kind of person that you are. The simple fact that you took the time to read my story, to understand what I have been through, and how it made me feel tells me enough about you. Sadly, since I started talking about this book and having discussion on it, I've realized how common these stories are. How almost every woman I have talked to has a story about someone who was physically, emotionally, and or sexually abusive. It's horrible. It should not be this common and accepted. I don't know your story. I don't know what you have been through. I don't know how you feel about it now. Are you still trying to heal from it? Have you been through the roller coaster of emotion that healing is and worked hard on yourself to find out who you really were? Who you were without the abuse, without the trauma, without the limiting belief? Who is the real you? No matter where you are on this journey, I want you to know that you matter. You matter in this world, even if some days your brain might tell you otherwise. You deserve to heal. You deserve to feel loved, cared for, and you deserve to have a safe space to talk about it all. You deserve to be you, whatever that might look like. Because who cares what other people will think, as long as it feels good to you. Never betray yourself for someone else. I'm incredibly proud of you. I know how hard it is to work on yourself. I know how exhausting it can feel to battle those limiting beliefs. I know how lonely it can feel to try to heal yourself and to realize some people will never understand what you have been through or what you're trying to accomplish. I'm not going to tell you that I understand everything. How could I? We have all been through different experiences, but I understand the loneliness, the pain, the anger, the resentment, and the sadness. I understand how you can grieve and feel for something that never happened or happened years ago. I understand how you can feel lost through all of this. I don't have all the answers for you. Even for myself, I sometimes feel like I have more questions than answers. I wish I could fix it all, but I can't. There is, however, something I want you to know. Never lose hope and always show up for yourself. Put yourself first because you deserve it. You are enough, you are worth it, and you aren't alone. Yes, there are many untrustworthy people in this world, but there are also so many kind, loving, and caring people who don't want to hurt you. Don't close yourself off from these people, people who will help you, who would care for you, and who would love you. Don't cut yourself from these people. You deserve that love. You deserve that friendship. You deserve that community. You are way more powerful than you think. Never let anyone put you down or dim your light ever again. Also remember that silence usually protects the wrong people. Don't keep yourself small or hidden to keep other people comfortable. Whoever you are, whatever you have been through, never stop healing, never stop being you. I see you and I'm proud of you. With love, Sandrine.
Thank you so much, Sandrine, for gracing us with a reading from your book. It's been an honor having you again on the podcast. And the first time I had you on the podcast, I asked you a question, same question I asked every guest, and that is, what is your truth that heals? To be honest, I don't remember what you said. It's been a while.
Yeah, me neither.
You don't remember?
I don't remember what I said last time, no.
Okay, no
It's going
problem.
to be a different one. Maybe
Okay.
maybe when you're gonna edit this, you can put both side by side and we can see.
Okay, that's a good idea. So I'll ask you again, Sandrine, what is your truth that heals?
I think my truth that heal is that whatever you are doing, whatever actions you are taking, if you do it out of a place of authenticity, it can never be the wrong answer. Sometimes with the patterns that we have followed with our past experience, we're scared of so many things. But if you do something out of, this is the best thing for you, out of taking care of yourself, putting yourself first, I don't think there's any wrong answers there. So sometimes we're just scared of, what's uncomfortable, scared of what will happen. But if you focus on yourself, if you just focus on what's the best for you, on healing for you, I think it's always going to be the right thing to do.
Thank you so much, Sandrine. And it's been awesome having you again on the podcast. To the audience, thank you for tuning in. If you've enjoyed this episode, which I hope you did, please feel free to subscribe, hit that like button, and share this episode so that more people can discover the truth that heals presented by our guest, Sandrine, and also that more people can discover Sandrine's book. I'll also be leaving links in the show notes so you can go there. And if you want to help me out a little bit more, because doing the podcast, the YouTube, it is a lot of work. You can help me out by contributing and buying me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/truth.h7. All of your contributions help me to keep the podcast going and helps me to pay the bills. So again, Sandrine, thank you so much for being a wonderful guest on the podcast.
Well, thank you so much for having me.
My truth that heals, it might seem simple, but I think it just goes down. All my experience just goes down to, I am worth it. Like in a lot of places in my life, I didn't think people wanted to know about what was going on for me. Or I thought I had value because, all of these accomplishments I was doing. I have value because I can do this for someone. I can take care of this. I can help with that and all of that. But I am worthy. My word is there, even if I don't do anything, for other people. It is not linked to what I can do. It is not linked to what I can accomplish. I can just be there. I can take space. I can use my voice. I can be sad. I can be angry. I can have all of those feelings, and that's okay. I have the space for it, and I should be better at expressing them, expressing my need and all of that, because I deserve, to be loved. I deserve to have those emotions. I deserve to be heard. I think just taking my space and realizing that, I am worth all that space, like my story needs to be heard. My story deserves to be heard, because for so long, who wants to know about that? Who wants to know about like your meltdown? Who wants to know about all of those things? I was really good at gaslighting myself, at telling myself, you're just being weak, you're just being a wimp and all of that. So just giving myself permission to say like, no, you are worth all of those things. I think that's probably my truth that heals.